chilly. If it's chilly, it means I had coffee today. I also had coffee today because were y'all up all night last night? Every hour on the hour I was awake. I have this theory. I'm going to start going to bed by 11:30 instead of staying up a little bit too late. So I had this idea, it's going to work perfectly. Well, no. I went to bed at 11:30. I woke up at 1:09 a.m. and I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I kept waking up all through the night. So somebody told me that old folks don't sleep as much. And since I got to be old, does that mean that's just normal for our bodies? I don't know. Y'all message me and tell me, is it normal that my nose is itching, somebody's coming? Yeah, somebody's coming, all right. An election's coming in 14 days. 14 days from today, an election is coming, and y'all better get out and go to the polls. Boy, y'all better get out and go to the polls. I also want you to come to downtown Ball Ground because we're having a scarecrow invasion, and with that invasion comes voting for the best. And I'll just tell you, there's two that are really, really, really good. And one is up at the top of the hill. They're all good. You know, they're all good. But two I really, really love. One at the top of the hill, and that's Sunshine Life. They did the coolest one in a pickup truck, in an old antique pickup truck. So you know I'm going to fall in love with that one. And then Miss Evelyn did, I think, the best one in town, which is in front of our office. And we're going to show a photo of that. And y'all could vote for it because I gave you the QR code. You can go to the website, Downtown Ball Ground, and you can vote for hours. And you will recognize it in front of our office with our pictures there. So we really want the vote. We really want to win this year. I think last year we placed a little bit, 2 or 3 or something like that. Now this, today I'm giving y'all, this is my Brunswick stew. I made a whole bunch of it this weekend, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I make it. But I can't tell you the amount of stuff. I'm going to guess because y'all know I don't measure a thing, and I don't have enough sense to write it down. And I probably should have, but I went to Ingles, and they had this big, huge Boston butt on sale. And it was about 6 pounds. And so I cooked this 6 pound, it may have been 7 or 8 pounds. It was big. It was so big I had to put it in a big old pan. I cooked that. I let it cool, and then I chop it up, chop, 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 chop. And then I cook chicken, and I used chopped up chicken. So start with 2 ingredients. I used the Boston butts, and I used chicken. Now, I go completely off the wall with anybody else's recipe. Everybody else's recipe I was reading, I'm like, what'd y'all put ground beef in it for? You don't put ground beef in Brunswick stew. But a bunch of cookbooks. I had a stack of cookbooks, and I went through all of mine, and nobody made it like I do. So here's how I do it. I cook my Boston butts, and I cook them a long, long time, real, real slow. And then I let them cool, and I chop it up. I chop up my chicken. I take the chicken broth, and then the first time I've ever done this, I took the broth out of the pork roast. I've never done this before, and I poured it up in a quart jar. I let it sit in the refrigerator all night, and then the fat came to the top, and I scooped off the fat, and I actually used the broth from the pork roast. I've never done that before, but I thought, you know what, it might give it a little pork flavor. So I used that broth and the chicken broth, and then I started adding my vegetables and whatever. I bought a Vidalia onion, and I sauteed that Vidalia onion in butter, and then I put that, I did the onions first, and then I put in the meat, the 2 meats, and then I put the broth on top of it. And then I started with my veggies, and my granny, Lord help her, I loved her to death, and she was a great cook, but she put lima beans in it, and some of y'all's recipe calls for that. I don't like lima beans, so there ain't no lima bean going in my Brunswick stew. But I took cream corn and whole kernel corn, and I did 1 can of Rotel tomatoes just to give it a little tiny kick. And then I used I diced tomatoes. I bought some big, huge tomatoes up at R&A Orchard, and I actually put them in the blender. I didn't even peel them, so it was all the peeling. I washed them good, quartered them, put them in the blender with a little bit of the chicken broth, And so that was how I did my veggies. And then I added 2 cans of petite diced tomatoes. So I had fresh tomatoes, canned corn, and I used cream corn and whole kernel corn because I like both. I like the thickening of the cream corn, and I like the little crunch of the whole kernel corn. So I did those, and then salt, pepper, Worcestershire sauce, hickory barbecue sauce, Laura Lynn, Ingles brand. It was on sale. You know I wouldn't have bought it if it hadn't been on sale. And then Worcestershire, a little bit of mustard, stir it up, and then a little pinch, just a pinch of brown sugar. And this was a big, huge pot. I put just a pinch of that in there. Stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it. And then I cooked it and cooked it and cooked it. It cooked about probably 8 hours, real on low in the crock pot, big, huge crock pot, and it was full to the top. So it really turned out good, and it was that texture that I like. And I got tickled because a lot of the recipes that y'all submitted in different cookbooks, and I was looking at this, some of you start with a can of Castleberry's Brunswick stew. I don't know if that's what gives you the base you do, but a lot of people did that and then added their own ingredients. But not one single soul out of these 5 cookbooks used Boston butts. I thought everybody did because Aunt Leela used to kill a hog, and that's how we would make Brunswick stew, was from the pork meat. So when I started going through cookbooks and saw everybody else's recipe, this is the way I've done it for years. And I don't know if maybe it's Aunt Leela told me how to do this. I don't remember. But you know I didn't write it down. You know I don't measure a thing. So good luck when y'all try to make my Brunswick stew. But I swear it's common sense, and it really was good. Really, really good. So now this, if y'all will run over there to the TV and snap a photo of that, and you get on our little I Love Ball Ground, no, it's Downtown Ball Ground, you can vote for our scarecrow. And we'd love to have your vote because we really want to win. There's something about as hard as Evelyn worked on it this year, I really want to see her win. So maybe she will. We'll see. We'll do everything. There you go. There it is. She did all those little fellers to go with him, and the little old man, and it's just so cute. She did such a great job. So, and it is in front of our office in downtown Ball Ground. So if you're in Ball Ground, come by and see us. And I want y'all to be in Ball Ground on Saturday, from noon to 4, the Garden Club. There's the Garden Club Scarecrow. The Garden Club is going to be sponsoring and featuring and hosting your children. Last year we had about 300 kids who come, and we do trunk or treat. You get lots of candy, you get lots of goodies. I've made some necklaces and some ornaments for kids. You're gonna have a fun time. It is free. It is at the Botanical Garden. It's a great place for photo opportunities. And it's this weekend on Saturday. So make plans if you don't have anything crazy going on. And we hope traffic will be better because most of the festivals are kind of leveling out. I think the Moonshine Festival is this weekend. But that's over toward Dawsonville, so maybe it won't affect us quite so badly or quite so goodly, because from that festival and all that traffic came a whole lot of money. So, but come to Ball Ground if you're able, and there's one of the scenes where you can do photo opportunities with your kids. Evelyn and her crew got down and decorated the whole garden, and it looks really, really beautiful. There are all kind of places where you can have photos made, and just a fun time. And again, it is downtown Ball Ground next door to the City Hall. It is free. And I love that. That is at Sunshine Life. And is that not really cool? That's a great photo. That really is the coolest thing. So welcome fall, welcome y'all. Come on down to Ball Ground and get to know the tiny little city that we love. And we do love it. And we would love to share it with y'all. Now these are our hometown heroes. A few years ago, these folks had this idea to start a food pantry, but a few years ago when they started it, the economy wasn't quite as crunched and munched and horrible as it is today. And so they went out on a limb and they started the food pantry. They own Dominic's, which is an amazing place to eat in Ball Ground. And they said, if you're part of the community, you have to give back. So Dom and Miranda, give back, give back, give back. The shelves of the food pantry are quite often empty because there are so many people depending on it. And yesterday I got to meet a lady who is depending on the food pantry. Spent some time with her. A very unusual situation. Her husband just passed away. They were in trouble. They were in trouble. He had been sick about a year and a half and really struggling, and at the same time made some bad decisions because his mind had gone. And his mind was affected because of his illness. And when you think about that, people aren't in bad positions because they choose to be. Something happens in their life. And so when I left her home, I thought, man, this could happen to any of us. And it truly could happen to any of us. So you may need to be at the food pantry one day purely because life's turn happens to be the wrong one. You know, maybe a health issue pops up and there's nothing you can do about it. So I know that it was crazy to be sitting there with her and seeing her in the condition she was 4 weeks after burying her husband. She doesn't know which way to go, and that's so very, very sad. But the food pantry reached out, took her some food, told me about her, and we spent some time with her. And Diane and Mike had prayed with him and actually were there just before he passed away. So we can all give back. We can all be a hometown hero, and we can all take lessons from Dominic and Miranda, and we can give back to somebody else, because there's one thing about it. All of us have the potential to be better than we are. Every single day we can be a little better. Now this is a kitchen table, and today I want to talk to y'all about the kitchen table. I think America would be much better off if you sat down around the table and you talked to your kids and you talked to your grandkids and you gave them a little wisdom and a little advice. I was telling somebody Sunday, my granny used to say, waste not, want not. Well, my granny had nothing to waste, absolutely nothing. They were poor as anybody you've ever seen in your life. But she was very sweet, very giving, and very loving. She gave what she had. She had no money, nothing of value, but she gave me a whole lot of love. And so if you're sitting around saying, well, there's nothing I can do for anybody, you can sit down at the kitchen table with your grandchildren. You can talk to them, you can give them advice, you can give them words of wisdom, you can give them a spanking if they need it. My granny whipped my tail plenty of times, and I guarantee you I needed it. And I just think about it. Now that looks like my granny's cornbread, but that's my cornbread. When you make my Brunswick stew, you need to make your Epona cornbread too. Now it ought to be against the law to make cornbread if you don't use an iron skillet. That is my favorite iron skillet size, and it's just perfect. It's just perfect for enough for tonight, tomorrow night, and have a little bit of cornbread and milk the next day. So just, you know, cold weather's here. Let's get out and let's start cooking. Grab them pots and pans and get them out. Now that is my favorite thing. It's my granny's percolator, and nothing smells like fresh perked coffee. Nothing smells like fresh perked coffee. It's hot, it's good, and nothing's any better than a good old biscuit coming out of the oven. That's my favorite bacon, and y'all know I hadn't had any in 3 weeks because it's not on sale. That's my Ingalls bacon, and that is a little temptation for y'all. Guess what? Today, you're going to get some of his new music, and it's Hank Williams stuff that he's done, and he's redone and redone and redone. The reason he's sitting there by them drums is because he can play almost every instrument known to man. He had no lessons. He just listened and watched and learned from old folks. And that's my advice to all of y'all. Listen and learn from the old folks. He's an old folk now, so if you want to go talk to him and say, hey, how did you learn to do what you do? How did you learn to write all this music? How did you learn to do that? He listened to the old folks, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So get by the kitchen table, make you a pot of coffee, sit down with those kids and those grandkids, and give them some advice, because one day you won't be here. And they'll say, remember when Granny told us that? Yeah, and it made a difference in my life. Today, 14 days from the election, you know what I'm going to tell you. You know what I'm going to tell you. You know what I'm going to tell you. It's time to vote. Vote early. Make sure you vote. I got tickled yesterday. We were talking about the fact that one of the states does not require identification. And I said if I was a lying, cheating scoundrel, I would book me a plane to California, and I would go to California and I would walk into any of their polls and I would see if they would let me vote without identification, because they're requiring zero identification. They are on the Mexican border. People are coming across 2,000 people a day, undocumented, and they're allowing them to vote. So that's not a good thing. We have to get out and vote, and we have to make it too big to rig. So I'm not gonna beg y'all. Yeah, I guess I will. I'm gonna beg y'all. Will you please get out and vote righteous? Vote the way the Bible says to vote. Vote conservative. Vote for America. Vote for America. And I want to share something that really caught my eye yesterday afternoon. I spent some time with some precious people from up in Tennessee, and we were talking, and today, you see this? This is the first time I've ever been on television without my iron skillet. My iron skillet broke yesterday, but I was talking to some folks from Tennessee as I was explaining to her how it was made and what happened, and it broke. So I have to take it up to Blairsville and get it repaired. Well, at the same time, we're talking about all this stuff, and we're talking about America's broken, but we can fix it. We can get together and we can fix it. We can all go vote early. We can all go vote conservative. We can all go vote for America. So I found this little blippet that happened yesterday in North Carolina, and I thought, you know, there might be some of y'all who missed this, but I want to share it with you because I'm voting for the man who shows up when there's trouble. I'm voting for the man who showed up and tried to straighten out a mess, and he did a really good job for 4 years. I'm voting for a man who I really truly believe will bring America back to greatness. And when I looked at the cabinet members that he is choosing, he's choosing amazing, genius people that are willing to put their life on hold. They own many of the corporations in America. They're going to put their life on hold to work in the cabinet to bring us back to greatness. That's what I'm voting for. I'm not voting for that mess about the abortion. I think that is absolutely crazy. If you're sitting at home and you're going to vote for that other person because you want the opportunity to have an abortion, you don't destroy America because there might be some time you need that. You can go to any state that honors it and you can do whatever you want to do. It's your business. I'm voting for America, and I want to show you a little bit of how the people in North Carolina feel about President Donald John Trump.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. That's quite a scene. Driving up, you see that kind of destruction. Actually incredible. To see that is incredible. It's the power of nature. Nothing you can do about it, but you got to get a little bit better crew in to do a better job than has been done by the White House. It's been not good. Not good. I'm here today in Western North Carolina to express a simple message to the incredible people of the state. I'm with you, and the American people are with you all the way. We're going to continue to be with you. We'll see what happens with the election. And we're, on January 20th, you're going to have, I think, a new crew coming in to do it properly and help you in a proper manner.
Is it helping the recovery effort in North Carolina to keep making these claims that FEMA's not doing their job?
Well, I think you have to let people know how they're doing. If they were doing a great job, I think we should say that too, because I think they should be rewarded. But if they're not doing, does that mean that if they're doing a poor job, we're supposed to not say it? These people are entitled to say it. You've obviously seen nothing but very bad statements coming out about the job that FEMA and this administration has done having to do with this area, North Carolina as a whole. And by the way, other states also, they're also complaining.
But how likely are you to win North Carolina in your mind?
Let me ask you, do you think I'll win North Carolina?
You'll win.
I think so. I think.
I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for everybody here. The biggest fear that Western North Carolina is sitting on right now, at least from the communities we've talked to, is being forgotten. And to have you here and have an opportunity to have this conversation at a national level will keep Western North Carolina on the map and not leave the communities holding the bag on the back end of this. So we're very grateful that you've shown up, and we're very grateful that you've taken the time. We're also appreciative in the timeline that you did it. You gave us space to operate and function and gave us space to provide relief where it needed to go. And we're very grateful for that, Mr. President.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Great job. Thank you very much. We're also joined by Brian Burpo, owner of Diamondback 4x4, where we are today. And Brian, you have a very interesting story to tell. Do you mind telling it?
No, not at all. Thank you. So I got a phone call from my general manager, and he said, well, the building's underwater. And I couldn't believe it because the river is so far away from us, and I thought he was just playing a joke or whatever else. But we finally made our way to the building, and I couldn't believe what I saw when I got off the Swannanoa exit. We lost bridges, we've lost businesses, we lost homes, we've lost people. The devastation here is just not anything I would have ever imagined. So I thank all of the first responders, all of the nonprofit organizations that have come to our aid to help with the machinery and the people, the hands, the boots on deck. It's amazing. I am overwhelmed by generosity. And even with everything that's going on in our country today, for the past 3 weeks, that was put to the side. And everybody joined together and lent a hand. Some people couldn't be here, so they sent their contributions with somebody else, and they indirectly helped. That we need those people still. We need that support. We're good on water, though. We got plenty of water, so we're good on water. But we have pallets of water laying around if anybody needs water. But we are very humbled and honored that that you guys keep us in your minds and in your prayers. We're going to need that for quite some time. So, as there are still families that are displaced from each other, pray for peace for those folks, some peace of mind. Mr. President, I can't thank you enough for coming out. I've had in the back of my mind, I even made a comment to somebody. Trump would just show up. Trump would just show up. We need it. We need that shot of hope in the arm. We need that. We need to know we're going to be okay and not forgotten.
You won't be.
Thank you.
You won't be.
Thank you.
Get it done together. Thank you very much. Great job. And Mike Stewart, the owner of Pineview Buildings, is here. Mike? Mike, please.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a business right across the street, like with the Swannanoa River flowing on the backside of it, and we lost everything. We had 70 plus buildings. We drove here 2 days later, and there wasn't one building that was ours, but there were houses and trailers and tankers and all sorts of things that were strewn across our property. And we lost a business, but there are a lot of people who lost everything, including loved ones. And I believe that you can serve as a great inspiration to this community right now. And the reason being is I think God's given you an indomitable spirit. And no matter what gets thrown at you, you find a way to press through. And I think that'll serve as an inspiration to this community to press on and move forward. I can't think of anything I'd rather have than a warrior leading our country, a warrior who, with the help of God and with faith and prayer, will lead this community, these communities, and this country to greatness. So thank you for being here today. Appreciate it.
Come here. I never heard anything. And that was from the heart. No speechwriter could write that.
Thank you.
Right?
If you don't mind, just because my heart's
Yes.
about to beat, do you mind if I pray for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, and all those that are prayers, would you join with me in this prayer? Father, I thank you for this man that you have raised up in this moment, in this season, for your purposes. And I pray that you would anoint him, that things aren't done just by might or by power, but by your Spirit. So I ask that you would anoint President Donald Trump and give him a spirit of wisdom and understanding and insight as he moves to lead this nation back to greatness. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Bless you.
Wow.
Bless you.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time, and delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
He's loose. He's across the 40 to the 50. It's a foot race to the end zone.
Keep it. He's got a little bit of running room. Hops over a defender, picks up the first down.
There he goes up the middle. He'll be cut down at the 20.
Is into the end zone for a Fannin Rebel score.
Catches it in stride. He'll go to the end zone. Breaks the tackle. Touchdown.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
I'm Sherry Martin. Tonight on Heart of the Home, I am so pleased I brought Angela Burgess, my daughter, to Miss Nolan's 4th grade science class, and we're going to do a simple recipe that you gave me. Now, this is so simple, and we know it starts with Mayfield milk because Mayfield is one of our sponsors, and we do love Mayfield milk. So, guys, we're going to do this very quick and very easy. The ingredients, Angela, are what?
1 tablespoon of sugar, a 1/2 cup of milk, or 1/2 and 1/2, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, 6 tablespoons of rock salt, 1 pint-sized Ziploc plastic bag, 1 gallon-sized Ziploc plastic bag, and ice cubes.
Sounds simple enough. We are actually going to make homemade vanilla ice cream. Not as good as Scotty Mayfield would make, but it's going to be good, isn't it?
Yes,
now, Miss Nolan promised me, she's done this recipe several times, so guys, we're going to get into it now. And Miss Nolan, you're going to give me 1/2 cup of Mayfield whole milk. There you go, there you go. And Angela, would you please add the sugar?
1 tablespoon of sugar.
Okay. and vanilla flavoring. You know, vanilla smells so good, but it doesn't really taste real good, does it? Until it comes out in your ice cream.
Only got 1/4 a teaspoon of vanilla.
We're measuring, now we're gonna put this in our bag, and do you wanna get the bag of ice ready for us, Miss Nolan? Oh, that smells good. Vanilla does smell so good. And remember, guys, one of the tricks that Miss Nolan told us is make sure that we seal our bags really, really tight.
Good.
Okay, now we have our ice, and we're adding the rock salt, which is also known as ice cream salt.
Tell me when.
That looks about good. Okay. Now, this is our ice cream freezer. Now, what about that? How simple is that? Make sure that you seal your bags correctly. Now, Angela, honey, you're the youngest and you're the prettiest. So, you are going to do what now? You're going to make ice cream.
I'm going to shake this bag up.
You're going to make ice cream. Do you
And
do it over and over?
Do it on the table. Like a gazillion times. Work off some frustrations.
That's right.
Homework troubles. Waiting for recess to come.
Now, we know this is so awesome because no pans, no heat, and we're using our great Mayfield milk, right? Is this the simplest thing you ever saw?
Right.
Wow. Okay, Angela, now you know I was teasing you. It's not 30 minutes. It's only 5 to 7 minutes.
Cool. Oh, it is. It's getting thick.
It's getting thick.
It's starting to get thick.
I just thought you looked like you wanted to do this for 30 minutes. Isn't that awesome? Can't believe this was ready in 5 to 7 minutes.
I know.
And it really is frozen, and it smells as good as Scotty
really smells
Mayfield's
good.
ice cream because it has Mayfield milk in it,
Yes.
doesn't it? Yeah.
We have to try it.
Can we try this? Wow. Wow, guys. Awesome. That is awesome.
You're my mama. Let me taste.
You can do it. That's right. Now, we could add peaches or strawberries
Only
to
eat
it.
after your mama, not strangers.
That's right. That's right. Oh, wow. Isn't it great? That is
Cool.
awesome now.
Really good.
This was such a simple recipe, and I am so glad Miss Nolan submitted it. We love doing new things. This was a great idea.
This was perfect.
Guys, thank you so much, and thank Miss Nolan, and thank you to Jasper Elementary School. This has been a learning process for me. Did y'all learn something today? Yes. And you learned you always tune in to ETC for Heart of the Home. Bye-bye.
One of the very first Heart of the Homes, and as I look at that, as I hear my daughter's voice, it reminds me, we are not guaranteed tomorrow. We are not guaranteed the next breath, and I think about it a lot. I think about the fact that I'm so lucky to have all the videos I have. I'm so lucky to have all the amazing memories. We talked this week about a loss. You know, a couple of people lost their life in an accident over in Fairmount. When your child leaves your home, gets in a car, and doesn't return, you never know that that's going to be the last time you hear their voice. So sit down with your kids, spend time with them, hear their voice today, record what they're saying, ask their opinion. And the way to get your kids around the table is just that simple recipe. You can say, hey, y'all, come and let's sit, and you can sit around the table and have conversation as they're doing their ice cream. And it just makes sense. It gives them something to do, it's fun for them, and it tastes yummy. But it gives you time with them, because we have to be the encouragers, we have to be the leaders, we have to be those people who say, hey guys, when you get in a car, make sure you don't speed, make sure you don't forget to put on your seatbelt, make sure that you pay attention and watch the other driver. JS used to say, I was going to cause a wreck watching other drivers, keep from them hitting me, because people are going to make mistakes. So we have to put some common sense into these kids' head. And the best way to do it is around a kitchen table. So just sit down with them, fix that simple recipe. Everybody gets to do it. And if you want to have apple pie made that they can do with their ice cream, or if you want to do it and just let them sit and put some chocolate syrup on it, or whatever you want to do. I like to put strawberries in mine. That's awesome. But it's a very, very simple recipe. And watching that, Cooter's gone, Angela's gone, and I'm still here. So whoever thought it, I'm the oldest of them, and I'm still here. So very thankful for every day I've had, and very thankful for days to come. So Now, I'm very, very thankful for a crazy man who showed up to drive me in a parade 2.5 years ago. We have had a lot of crazy times, and if I could record everything he says, y'all would crack up laughing. He should be a stand-up comedian, but he's too busy in the studio. He's either chasing 66 Chevelle parts or he's chasing music. And so I'm going to share some of the new music that he has authorized me to use. He's mastered it, edited it. He has it exactly as he wants it. So you're going to get to hear some of that today. When we look back on the music he chooses to do is often the old-timey music, because that's the comfort zone that he was in. He loved listening to the old folks. He's sitting on the porch talking to his dad, talking to his granddad. Those are the good memories. Those are the memories that we need to treasure. And now that we have iPhones and we have iPads, for goodness sake, get it out and record your grandparents, record your parents, talk to them. And they'll probably be like my granny and say, "Will you put that camera away? I don't want no video of me." And I videoed her anyway, but I have very little of that. So you take advantage of it. Get yourself an iPhone, get yourself an iPad, and record the wisdom from those who are much, much wiser than us. Let's go to some music by your favorite, Mr. Ellijay.
My child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were trains to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew. And as he grew, he said, "I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you." And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, son. You know we'll have a good time then. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, "Thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw?" I said, "Not today, I got a lot to do." He said, "That's okay," and he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. It said, "I'm gonna be like him, yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him." And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, son. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, he came from college just the other day, so much like a man I just had to say, "Son, I'm proud of you, can you sit for a while?" He shook his head and he said with a smile, "What I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them, please?" And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. I've long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, "I'd like to see you if you don't mind." He said, "I'd love to, Dad, if I could find the time." You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids with the flu, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good
All my life, I remember Daddy telling the story about when they lived up there above Grandma and Grandpa's on the side of the road in that little old house. Said it was real cold that night. They was already in the bed. Somebody was beating on the door. He said he got up to see who it was, and it was Nez. He had walked up there from Grandma and Grandpa, and he said he could tell he was upset about something. He walked in, he said, and held his hands out over that old wood heater and looked up at Daddy with tears in his eyes and said, Hank Williams died this evening.
Your cheating heart will make you weep. You'll cry and cry and try to sleep, but sleep won't come the whole night through. Your cheating heart will tell on you. When tears come down like falling rain, you'll toss around and call my name. You'll walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you. Your cheating heart will pine someday and crave the love you threw away. The time will come when you'll be blue. Your cheating heart will tell on you. When tears come down like falling rain, you'll toss around and call my name. You'll walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you. Heading out to San Francisco for the Labor Day weekend show. I got my hush puppies on. I guess I never was meant for glitter rock and roll. And honey, I didn't know that I'd be missing you. So come Monday, it'll be alright. Come Monday, I'll be holding you tight. I spent 4 lonely days in a brown LA haze, and I just want you back by my side. Yes, it's been quite a summer. Rental cars and westbound planes, and now you're off on vacation. Something you've tried to explain. And darling, it's I love you so. That's the reason I just let you go. Come Monday, it'll be alright. Come Monday, I'll be holding you tight. I spent 4 lonely days in a brown LA haze, and I just want you back by my side. I can't help it, honey. You're that much a part of me now. up there. We can go hiking on Tuesday. With you I'd walk anywhere. California has worn me quite thin, and I can't wait to see you again. Come Monday, it'll be alright. Come Monday, I'll be holding you tight. I spent 4 lonely days in a brown LA haze, and I just want you back by my side. I spent 4 lonely days in a brown LA haze, and I just want you back by my side. Smoky Mountain memories about my home in Tennessee. Memories keep calling me home. Mountains rising in my soul, higher than the dreams I've known. Misty-eyed they cling to me by Smoky Mountain memories. An old gray man with a dog asleep at his feet plays a worn-out fiddle full of melodies. He smiled with his eyes, but the lines on his face told me more than the tunes he played. Talking about my Smoky Mountain memories. Pretty girl from Tennessee. I was such a fool to leave her all alone. I think about her in my dreams and wonder if she thinks of me. I'll always hold her close to me in my Smoky Mountain memories. So Mr. Play your fiddle, please. Play some mountain memories. I've been down a lonely road, so far from home. Nothing left to hold on to. I made some plans, but they fell through. Now there's nothing left for me but my Smoky Mountain memories. Smoky Mountain memories about my home in Tennessee. Memories keep calling me home. Mountains rising in my soul, higher than the dreams I've known. I can't get away from all my Smoky Mountain memories. Talking about my Smoky Mountain memories.
Get your pencil, get your paper, write down 2 more events that are free to you and your children on October the 30th. This is the 2nd year that our local Dairy Queen in Jasper has done this. You can show up and there will be candy and trunk or treat at Jasper DQ, music, cornhole, prizes, ice cream. It is going to be a fun night, and once again, it is free to you for you and your children on the 30th of October. Now, Friday night from 5 to 10 p.m., this Friday night in Ball Ground, there will be food trucks, there will be a Halloween contest, a costume contest, there will be music, and there will be bounce houses, and there will be a movie in the park in downtown Ball Ground. You just come and you hang out, and I don't know what the movie is, but I'd say it will be a scary one. Does that make sense? And it is again 5 to 10 p.m. in downtown Ball Ground, and you are welcome to come park over there in the little field across from Groover Street at Groover and Old Dawsonville. A lot of things will be happening, a lot of fun that is free to you. Come and watch a movie, come and hang out, come and enjoy downtown Ball Ground, and be sure to vote for the best scarecrow. Now, not that Evelyn's is the best, but it is. So vote for Evelyn Scarecrow in front of our office. There you go. Now, I want to read something to you because in the last few days, I think people come in my path that I didn't know these people. I didn't know anything about them. But after spending just an afternoon with the lady, I got to thinking about how do we stop the craziness in our life? How do we get it together before we fall apart? And that's very important. So I look back at the things that I did right and the things I did wrong. I listened to my grandmother most of the time. Sometimes I defied my mother, but I always respected and loved them both. And after I met with the lady yesterday, she kept saying, I miss my husband so much. I miss him so much. I loved him so much. And I thought, you know, we all have somebody that we know, we love, and we would miss. Do we tell them often enough how much we love them and how much we miss them? So I want to read something to you. This is out of Mike's book, and it is, you know what it says? God keeps showing up, and God keeps showing up. And it is so weird to me. Now, there's a picture of my mama, and we're going to just leave it on pictures of the family as I read you this. I just want you to think about this. Mike Smith wrote this, and this was a conversation he had with his dad. Many years ago, we sold our home in Kennesaw very quickly. We couldn't find another place we liked, so we moved in with my parents. We thought it would be for a very short time, but it ended up being 4.5 years. When we finally built our home up in Ball Ground and got ready to move, my father came to me and said, "Why don't you just stay with us?" He was serious. It had worked out well, and that we had helped them and they had helped us, and he just didn't want us to leave. I had to tell him, "Daddy, we have a home now and we need to move on." He understood, but he just didn't want us to go. They were not in real good health, and after work I would always go by on my way home to check on them. After I finally retired from Lockheed, I was not going by every day, but I would always call them each day at the same time. It was always 5 o'clock. And my father would say hello and tell me what they were doing, that they were doing all right. He got so used to me calling that he would just pick up the phone and he would say, "We're all right." Boy, I sure do miss those phone calls, and I miss my father. But I do know if I could reach him and my mother right now, his response would be the same: "We're all right." You see, I didn't lose my father because I know where he is. He didn't pass away. He just passed on to experience what God had prepared for him. My mother is there too, and all my relatives who knew Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Each one of us who have had loved ones to go on to be with the Lord can take comfort in what the Bible says. So we are always of good courage. We know that while we are at home in the body, we are away from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Yes, we are of good courage and would rather be away from the body and at home with the Lord. So whether we are at home or away, we make it our aim to please him. And that's 2 Corinthians 5, 6, and 9. Father's Day can be hard on us when they're not there with us. There's a reunion coming. One day we will walk by sight and not by faith. And we'll see the things that really are. We can rest easy because our Heavenly Father and His Son have made some things that will be all right. And when I think about the lady I met with yesterday, she just said, "It's only been 4 weeks since he left, and I miss him so much." There's somebody in all our lives that we're going to miss, and there's somebody who's going to miss us when we're gone. So take advantage of every moment today. Pick up the phone, call somebody you love, make plans to have lunch with somebody you haven't seen in a while. and know that we are going to be all right. There'll be somebody today who leaves this earth, and it'll be somebody we knew and loved. There'll be somebody tomorrow who does the same thing. That's God's perfect plan. So today, while we have the time, while we have the moment, take advantage of just a phone call, just a conversation, maybe even write a card. But do something to say, hey, we're all right. We are all right. We're going to leave you today with another song by your favorite. I know y'all love him. And I'm trying to give you his music. So here we go with one more song by Mr. Ellijay.
Misty mountain, rainbow sky, a faraway look in your eye. Tell me, have you had enough? Traffic jams and city stuff. Don't you think it's time to go where black bears climb and waters flow? Hummingbirds out on the deck, propped up, and what the heck? You'll love how we live here in these mountains. Everything is gonna be alright, and we all wave hello here in these mountains. Sleep well at night. It's all right. The mountain life. Trip to Ellijay and see the bright red Georgia clay, from Notley down to Carter's Lake. All the memories to make, so much here for all to see, a land that is so dear to me. Welcome home to all your dreams, hot rod Fords and crystal streams. Now you'll love how we live here in these mountains. Everything is gonna be alright. We all wave hello here in these mountains. Life is good, we sleep well at night, and it's all right. The mountain life, it's all